After a good weekend, time to get to the shop. It's all the stuff I'm sending back to Jegs and Speedway. Oop, we got a review coming on another scan tool. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. Sometimes I'll go off the rails and show you some little tidbits of other things that are going on in my life, or things that might be going on, project truck stuff on Sundays, but bear with me. We're gonna spend a day in the shop fixing cars. We got a whole bunch of them out in the parking lot with keys dropped in the drop box. So we'll figure out what's going on with those, write up some work orders, and I'll put some clips in right here so you'll know what's gonna happen in this video. We got a broken Toyota. Fast and Furious, bro. Outstanding. As you can see, we got a busy day ahead. We got a beautiful morning. It's around 68 degrees. It's probably gonna be in the 80s today. And looking forward to it. Should be a good day to get to work. Get something done. Get people back on the road. The biggest thing is going to be this Jeep electrical problem. It's got a module failure pulling down the communication lines. I spent a lot of time on it last Friday that I shouldn't have, because we didn't have much else to do anyway, which isn't really the right way to do things. So hopefully they'll talk to the customer and I can really start digging deep into this thing. I don't want to go too far down the path of no return and have to put it all back together if they don't want to fix it. Maybe that was in the clip today. We'll see. I'm going to finish getting the shop open up. Let's get to it, try to learn a thing or two, and have some fun. Stay tuned. Uh-oh. 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 We got a broken Toyota. That's crazy. It's impossible. Saw it on the internet. Oh, watch out. 119,000 miles on this Toyota Highlander from up north, I'm guessing. Love rating a 2. It's got wicked exhaust leaks, like the exhaust is rotted off of it. We did an oil change. They sold him brakes, and like a week later his tailgate stopped working. So he's like, well, I want to do the brakes, but find out what's wrong with my tailgate first. And if you want some French fries or anything, help yourself. Let's see. Oh my goodness gracious, this poor truck or van or car. What do you call these things? Jeez. Well, that's not supposed to be like that. It rusted off and busted. It's gonna need some trunk shocks and this plate that goes on there. So, or definitely at least the plate, huh? Because I guess the shocks are holding it up. I wonder if this plate's available from a non-northern state. All right, let me let them know. They wanted me to look at this first before we get too crazy and start doing brakes. I'm gonna have them do both sides, shocks and that, just because it's so rusty. I wonder how the bottom ones don't, well, the ones attached to the car instead of the tailgate don't look as rusty for some reason. These must trap a little more water, so. All right, and we got some more intel, and we'll let them know. And we're also waiting to see what they're gonna do on this. The only thing that makes an old Dodge Caravan more interesting, Fast and Furious, bro. Toyota Corolla with no muffler. The only thing that makes a Caravan more interesting is the Mecum license plate. And things like the cool blue wheel edge guard thing. That's pretty sweet. Customer's got a check engine light on. Says something about some EGR codes. He'd like to speak with the tech so he can give the technician information that he might need to fix the car. What the heck? Why is it loaded? Oh, look at that. That's cool. Don't do that. FYI. Got a new EGR valve. Someone's been in the bellows. Someone's been doing some work. Let's see here. I believe this is, rebuilt title. 2007 Dodge Caravan, 141,836. It's actually very clean. I'm gonna say 6. Oh, it's got the code reader tool. It says he has a lack of power and a check engine light on and something about EGR. And I hear exhaust driving it up here. I didn't lift it up yet. That's annoying. I didn't lift it up yet, so I'm gonna grab the X tool, see what kind of codes, send a report, and then we'll have a better idea what direction to go. The GoPro shut itself off, so I'm not sure where. I'll have to patch that edit together. Oh, these are sweet. This thing's nice, man. Now it's a luxury Caravan. All right, let's stop horsing around and get the scanner. All right, we're gonna let the X tool run through all the modules, do a auto scan, give us our codes. He said the check engine light's been on forever, but this problem with the idle being weird is new. So we got our work cut out for us. He was showing me some broken bolts and things that he's had problems with working on it, him and his friend. So we'll see what we can do, come up with something for him, try to help him out, let this thing do its dance, and we'll come back. All right, I sent the report up front. So one thing I can say about this tool compared to the top down, it's a lot more complicated to send a report. So what you have to do is save the report, go back to the main page up front and go to report, and then you can click on the report you just saved and send it. So I sent him an email just now asking them to make it so you can send the report from the page where you save it from. That's what the top down does. Maybe there's a reason they can't do it, I'm not sure. This tool does cost half as much, so that's a factor too as well, I'm sure. But anyway, he's got a throttle position sensor voltage low code, and he's got a heater failure code, which is probably what he's talking about. It's had that code forever. What we can do is go into live data, take a look at the throttle position intel, and see what it looks like. TPS volts, TPS calculated volts, minimum TPS, target idle and engine speed. Custom. Bring that up. Start this thing up, see what it does. TPS 0.6, calculated 0.6, minimum 0.6. 870 RPM. That seems to be working. Strange that it has a code. Maybe they messed with it and didn't clear the code. He said something about it idling at 2,000 RPM, and since they worked on the EGR wiring, the idle came down. It's idling about 600, 650 where it's supposed to. It looks like the TAC shows lower than the data on the scan tool. So that's interesting. He also has some TCM codes. Let's look in there, see what those codes were. This seems easier than pulling the report back up, as long as the module will communicate quickly. Read DTC. It says something about shifter input. Battery was disconnected. Check shifter signal. Throttle position sensor low. Current. Interesting. That makes me want to turn the key on, engine off, go back into that data and see what that data looks like a little bit more closely. We'll bring up a graph with just the TPS and see what that does, see if there's any glitches or dropouts, because that's a symptom of, those codes are symptomatic of that problem. TPS volts, custom. I'm going to graph it. I'm going to push the gas very slowly, see if we have any weird glitches or dropouts. I hope that shows up. There's not too much glare out here. Hey, you can see yourself, see? It's like looking in the mirror. Hi. I'm going steady and smoothly. That's full throttle. Doesn't really go that high, does it? Go back down, see if we have glitches or dropouts. The best way to do this is a scope, but the scan tool data will give you pretty good information as well, especially for if it's a big problem that's happening pretty consistently and setting codes. I'm not seeing anything weird with it right now. That's very strange. I sent the report. So what I'm going to do is clear these codes, take it for a drive, and we'll see if the codes come back. I also want to get it on a lift real quick. I think I'm going to pull it on the alignment rack to look at the exhaust, because that causes check engine lights too. You get lean codes and oxygen sensor codes and strange things like that. So let me clear these codes, take it for a drive, see what I can find as far as how it drives on the road, and I'll go with that with you when we come back. It's weird, I can hear a little bit of an exhaust rumble, but I couldn't find anything really bad in the exhaust. So I'm really wondering if it's got a cat pushing EGR open and setting some of these weird codes. So maybe it sets a TPS code when the engine won't accelerate, but the pedal moves. I don't know. we're gonna go take it for a short drive, see what we see and what code come back, and we'll go from there. Well, that's no good. That's interesting. No codes. I didn't see any anomalies on that short road test. It made decent power. I'm not really sure what's going on with this now. And he's waiting for it, so I'm gonna have to see if he wants to leave it. We'll take it on a couple road tests, see if something happens again with it. But I see the idle surging. That's kind of strange. But the tack is doing it. I don't really hear the engine doing it. Let's grab that data. Go back up to the top, I believe. Engine RPM, target idle. Engine RPM 985, 1000. Target idle 752. That is really strange. I don't really hear the engine changing speed. Maybe it is very slightly. Oh my goodness gracious, this thing's gonna eat my lunch. Let's go under the hood real quick. It's probably hard to see out here. There's an awful lot of glare for me and you, because I can barely see it, but I'm gonna spray this in here. I don't want to spray it on the ignition, because that would give you a bad day. You're better off doing it with water getting near the ignition. You want to just look for fuel trims changing, and the water will definitely affect it, as well as the idle speed if there's a vacuum leak. So I'm going to mess around and see if I can find some kind of a vacuum leak, or he put a salvage throttle body on it, and he's got some sketchy wiring everywhere. There's a lot of little things going on, but we want to try to get to the root cause of his issues. And all I can see right now is a slightly erratic idle. Kind of strange. It's not really very high. It's so slight that you can barely tell. But that was what he said to me mostly. My idle's a little high. It was 2,000. We got it down to 1,000. And after that drive, it's a little high. Let me see if we set a TPS code again. Wish this thing had a kickstand. Have I said that yet? Read DTCs. The light's not on, but yeah, no trouble code. All right. Going around in circles a little bit. When someone gets involved in fixing their own stuff, you kind of have to worry about everything they did on top of what the original problem might have been. So I'll play with this looking for a vacuum leak a little bit and tell you what we find. All right, I'm not finding any vacuum leaks, so what I think is happening is intermittently that IAC sticks. The other one he said was stuck at 2,000 RPM all the time. They put this throttle body on and it helped, but it's not perfect. So I'm just thinking this is also a bad throttle body. We got to try to prove that out. We can do what's called a wiggle test, and we can do what's called an IAC test, which the IAC test, I did that, it clicks and it says passed. So we're going to do the wiggle test now. Engine must be warmed up. Device can cycle engine RPM. If RPM is not cycled, check IAC and wiring, etc. I'm going to start it up. We'll do that test, see what happens. I'm heavily leaning towards a salvage part that's not great, but it's better than what he had. I unplugged it, the idle dropped, and when I plugged it back in, it didn't recover. So there's a couple of possibilities here. In order for this test to be run, should be following: engine at operating temperature and idling. Cycle target RPM. RPM should now cycle. Now it's showing me the IAC current, the amount of airflow, and the percentage at 52%, 1500 RPM. Now it should lower it, and then it's going to lower the RPM. Now if it lowers the current, the milliamp right here is 571 milliamps, so half an amp. So if it lowers that and the engine speed doesn't go down, it means the IAC is stuck. Now putting a voltmeter in there will just prove out what we're seeing on the scan data. I don't know if you can even see it, there's so much glare. Maxed out. Try wiggling it, see if it changes. He's got a lot of cool wiring patches and stuff, which are another concern, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything weird happening. It's not moving the idle though. I thought by now it would have done something differently, and it just wants me to wiggle it and see if it moves, I suppose, and I'm not seeing any results from that. That's why I think the motor itself is just sticky. Could be gummed up. Maybe cleaning it might help. I don't know. I'd have to take it all apart and see. So let's see how far this customer wants to go. He may want to just get another throttle body from the salvage yard, and we'll go from there. Can't even see it, can you? Oh my goodness gracious. It's not going too well out here in the sunshine. I don't have a bay because I'm waiting here in a Jeep. I'm waiting here in a Toyota. And this customer's waiting, so I'm just trying to look at it as quickly as I can. And we're coming up on an hour now with the road testing and a test I've done. And I'm assuming when I tell him what's wrong, he's going to take it and fix it himself. So my recommendation at this point is going to be another throttle body and repairing all this wiring correctly. All the house connectors. It's got house connectors down here, house connectors on the fans. So I would do all that. It's got to be waterproof. You can't have open connections in an engine compartment where moisture and water and whatever else can get in there. So right now this thing's working. I dropped the idle down when I left the test, so it's definitely intermittent. And we'll see if he wants to go any further with this one. I'm not feeling a lot of romance on it. I don't want to brag, but the quality of work I'm getting today is outstanding. Customer states, we were pulling up behind our RV and something hit the oil pan. I swear we weren't driving it. 2001 Jetta turbo diesel, 306,048 miles. It's barely broken in. We're gonna get it in the air, see what the customer's talking about. I haven't tried to start it yet, because when they tell you there's a hole in the oil pan, last thing I want to do is be firing it up. It also has a hole in the windshield. Alright, let's give it a love rating of 4 and get it in the air and see what's happening. It's just not going to be a very productive day today, I got a feeling. But we're going to do what we can. We always do. Look at that. Something hit the oil pan and put a hole in it. Cool. Look at this turbo diesel stuff. Alright. There's quite a bit going on. It's got the old diesel oil contamination thing going on. That was probably before it was leaking, I'm guessing. So I have to see if we can get a turbo diesel oil pan. Doesn't look like it's too hard to do. I'm sure there's going to be some unknown fiasco going on. It's a Volkswagen, you know. You guys know the history of those cars. They said there's absolutely no oil in it, but look, the hole's higher than the drain plug. There's got to be a half a quart in there. Alright, let's see if they can round up an oil pan. Customer says it was happening while they were towing it, so it shouldn't have any engine damage, right? 300,000 miles. It's fresh. Let's see if they want to do that mount while we're in there too, and see what happens.
You want to do something easy? Hey man, once in a while I'll take a bone.
I'm just finished, so if you don't want it, man, I'll get on that.
No, I'm good, I'm good.
Alright, cool.
I'm good. Brake pads, rotors all the way around, rear trunk shocks.
That's a good back scratcher. Just in time. She's a rusty girl, that's for sure. We'll put a little bit of this almost useless penetrant oil on here, get it soaking in these parts. See what we can salvage out of this thing. It's pretty nasty. You northern guys are like, that's nothing. I don't know, it looks like something to me. I'm not taking that off, but I still feel compelled We'll see how much it dries up by the time I'm done with this brake job. Man, I wasn't expecting that to pop right out of there. Thank goodness for special coatings on the bolts. The only thing that didn't rust is the bolts. They should put those coatings all over all the brake parts, no? That'd be better. Oh, that's an alloy caliper. My goodness gracious. The slides are frozen. I'll get them out, don't worry. Break them loose, turning them with the wrench, and see what happens. They weren't frozen that bad. They were just kind of sticky. So, all that crybaby stuff got me nowhere. Look at that. That's perfect. What's wrong with that? Wonder why it felt stuck. Turned it half a turn with the wrench. Broke loose, no problem. I'm surprised, as rusty as this is, it all came right apart. Oh look, the last person greased it. That's why. There's grease on there besides the stuff I sprayed on it. Gotta be some entertainment value in that. Well, the rust is cleaned off the threads now. 8x125 to pop these rotors loose. Hopefully it won't be too bad, especially doing it one hand. Just another portion of the entertainment value we bring over here at the Making It Work YouTube channel. I saw a guy last night. He's got 35,000 subscribers, but his videos only average like 500 views. Kind of strange. I'm thinking some YouTube channels buy subscribers from nefarious individuals. Probably better to do it organically so they don't shut your YouTube channel down. Just a little advice for the smaller channels that are trying to get going. Of course, Rain Man Ray called me small time. He sent me an email about cotter pins. Hey, small time, nice. No, he didn't send me an email. He just made a comment on a short. Hey, small time, nice use of cotter pins. Something like that. That was pretty funny. Parts are on the way. Just keep taking stuff apart. These are really simple. Nothing too much to remember as far as weird brackets and things like that. So I'll just take this all apart, get everything all prepped, and I'm not sure why the customer wanted brakes yet. About halfway, maybe a little less. Maybe you got a pulsation or something. I think we're doing rotors too, so we'll get it from used car status up to new car status with some fresh parts. Personally, I wouldn't have sold brakes yet. But... Uh-oh, 17s on the inside. Caliper bracket books. Look at all the heat cracks in the pads too. That's from late braking. Over and over. Or pulling a trailer with brakes that aren't made for it. That kind of thing. 17s on these caliper bracket bolts. Let's go check on some parts. These come out of the package with schmutz on them, so we got to clean the schmutz off. Love me some brake jobs. I know a couple guys were saying I do too many brake jobs. I'm like, nope, I don't do enough, sorry. What I'll probably do is, when I do a lot of brake jobs, I'll only film one of them. And that'll be a shorter video. You guys tell me in the comments if you don't like the repetition. Maybe I'll That would mean doing single repair videos would be better, but it's basically just what I do in the shop each day, right? I think we voted on that once before, a day in the shop corner. Now this hardware, it's in there. So I'm going to pop all these out, do some major wire brush work, and we got new hardware for it. I already lubricated my slides, make sure there's grease under and over the hardware. Some of you guys have been watching a while, you know all about it. I always put these in the garbage can too, because I hate when they stick to my boots and you get a flat tire and stuff like that. Might be a little too much glare with the sun right behind me, huh? Gone too far. Got my little squealer clip on there. Should be good. Lubricated the pistons and the ears on the caliper, of course. I'm going to put the little springs in. I set them up just in front of the caliper bolts so I wouldn't put it together without them. Hard to see the hole, there it is. T14s. This gun's a little overkill for this job, so I'm just not going to go crazy. Yeah, that's sketchy. Careful. Watch your fingers. Hey, that's tight. I knew there was a little left there. I could feel it in my bones. A couple of brake pads. We'll get this together here. We'll start bleeding these brakes. Why does that not feel right? Did you see something? If you see something, say something. Ow! Ah, the hardware cut me. That's terrible news. 0.5 extra. I'm not supposed to get war wounds at work. I'm not doing anything heroic here. I don't need to be bleeding. But usually end up bleeding almost every day. Almost. Usually minor stuff. A little cut here, a little bump and bruise there. This job is not for the squeamish. Uh-oh. It's also not for people who try to use a 12 when they should use a 14. That's right, I used a ratchet to take them on and off. I forgot. Which means I'm going to turn them by hand. Now the ratchet wrench, only take a few tugs. More little bump just for insurance purposes. Now for the flushing festivities, we'll make sure the bleeder breaks loose. Oh, that's nice. I thought it was going to be a little more difficult. Now I can use the open end. Put this on. I've got my little container up top so it doesn't run out. Most of you guys probably have seen that. with all these brake jobs I've been doing. This is the second brake job in 2 weeks, so let me go ahead and hook up the air. It's going to get loud. I'll go around all 4 wheels till we get clean fluid. And my trunk latch, what do you want to call that? Rear hatch struts came. We'll do that next. Second wheel. Last wheel. Oh yeah, sing to me.
Oh man, that's like...
I was hanging by a string and she said, let's do the wild thing. Oh look, the connector's right here. I just gotta pop that out. I got the world famous Rob, the alligator hunter, holding it up for me. So all I gotta do now is get this connector unconnected and pop this grommet out of here, and then we got all new stuff. What's in that? Play dirty? Do that. You catch me riding dirty?
Catch Jimmy outside, how about that?
Catch me outside, how about that? What I say? Alright, that one comes all the way off. The other one didn't want it. I already cut the wire. So now this one's going to be a piece of cake. Look at that thing.
Would you just look at it?
It's a heavy packet. Come on! Let's dramatize the situation so it's weatherproof. Look at that liquid sunshine we get in the Florida area. I'm going to put that back in the bracket because I'm cool like that. With this bag. Now there should be a button somewhere on here of some sort. Here it is. Uh-oh, broken. Doesn't work. I'm wondering if I have to clear codes. I bet you there's codes to clear. Let's get the scanner. We did a tailgate shock. We need a scan tool. All right, we're going top down because we want to be remote. I don't want to have the 4-foot cable hindering my progress. Come on, 7. Show me what you're working with. Lexus? It's not a Lexus. What did I push Lexus for? Yes, I want to exit. Why did I push Lexus? You guys know? Oh, you know why? It always says EV on the right and gas on the left. So I went to the left. Force of habit. Shouldn't automatically go to Lexus now, I hope not. Toyota. That's more like it. Not a single 7. Oh well. What are the odds? 1 in 9? 1 in 10? Scan it. I'm going to find tailgate module and see if we can clear some codes out of it. With smart key, radar cruise, with tire pressure monitor, continue. Okay, listen here, man. System list. Back door. Let's go in the back door. Read fault codes. Oh man. Clear DTCs. Yep. Cleared. Now let's see. I push the button. What happens? That's the rules. Let's go actuation test. Let's go power back door. No monitoring data. Close. There it goes. Open. Open. So now, if it doesn't work, there's a problem with that button. And maybe we'll have to try another button. Like the one up by the front instead of the back one. Now it works. Once we cycle the door in an actuation test and clear the codes, it works. Brakes are done. Rear hatch is done. This car sat out in the parking lot with the rear hatch open all weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and road test it, seat these pads, and now I'm going to shut this off so it stops opening and closing. And we'll see what's next. We still got some time. We should be able to do something else today. Close sesame. Oh, the bottom dropped out of that one quick. Phones went down, work went away. So thanks for watching today's video, guys. I really appreciate your company. Hope you got something from it. Torque the like button, subscribe, check out the Amazon store, tune into the next one. I hope I see you there, because you're awesome.